Hello and welcome. This is a special broadcast once again on the Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim assembly election results, something that we have been eagerly anticipating, and this comes right at the back of the all-important exit polls for important. The role of the ruling political parties in these states have always acquired a lot of political color, a lot of national patriotic fervor. There you see on the screens the traditional dance of Arunachal Pradesh, people announcing and rejoicing the victory of the BJP there. Firecrackers going on. National People's Party NPP candidate Pesi Jilin has emerged victorious in Lerombo assembly seat, securing a margin of nearly 1,700 votes. The Bharatiya Janata Party, they have clinched victories in multiple constituencies. BJP candidates have won in Lumla, Sepai East, Palin, Changchao, Raga and lots of other places also. These victories bring BJP's total seat count as an impressive 23 as of now, edging them closer to achieving a majority in the 60-member assembly. In a closely contested race, BJP candidate Chakatabo has emerged victorious in Khonsa West constituency. Adding to BJP's triumphs, Wangling Nowangdong has emerged victorious on his respective seat. With the BJP already securing 10 seats and leading on over 40 more, it's evident that ruling party is on course for another victory in Arunachal Pradesh. So that's about Arunachal Pradesh. When we talk about Sikkim, also very important here to note that Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang, the leader of Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, SKM party, has emerged victorious in the Renok constituency. He has secured a decisive win over his Sikkim Democratic Front SDF rival Somnath Podial by impressive margin of 7,044 votes. All these, the numbers that are coming in as of now are pretty much significant when it comes to the overall polity of the northeastern part of the country. To discuss these further, we are joined by eminent panel of guests. Begin with Sanjoy Hazarika, journalist and author and northeast expert. Mr. Hazarika, first of all, thank you so much for taking time out. I know it's the middle of the day, and we were actually anticipating that the numbers would get more clear, but then now I think the writing is on the wall. Starting with Arunachal, sir, how important do you think a BJP victory in this state of Arunachal Pradesh is important, knowing for a fact that there is always a China to discuss about it, there is always the regional flavor that is to discuss about it. How important do you hold this for BJP?
Well, of course, this is significant for Arunachal itself. Let's leave aside the external factors. It's important for Arunachal itself because the way the trend is going for the BJP, it looks as if it will almost get a 2/3 majority, not just halfway, but more than half, even beyond 2/3. Because as you were saying, they already have 10 in the bag because 10 seats, their MLAs were elected unopposed, which is a bit of a unique situation. So that's number one. So it shows that people are happy with or people have expressed support. They may not be happy, but they may have expressed support for the way the government of Mr. Khandu has gone about infrastructure and trying to get funds into the hands of people. For somebody who I keep traveling to the northeastern states. In fact, I'm based in Shillong most of the time.
Yes.
You see the visible impact of change, and frankly, the BJP, both in Arunachal and in other parts of the country, has an advantage over all other parties in resources, both human and financial, and the fact that it is an incumbent government which is not facing, at least in Arunachal, not facing any incumbency as it appears.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
but as far as China is concerned, you can expect a statement in a day or two from Beijing saying that
They don't
they
recognize.
will not recognize the election, the
Quite a
illegally
China's
held,
playbook.
the usual thing.
Yes.
But that doesn't make any difference to what exists on the ground.
Mr. Hazarika, you're right. China's belligerence continues, and so does the strength, the commitment, the resilience of the Indian government, the Indian people, the Indian polity stays. Not far away in the northeastern region, we had an issue of the Manipur crisis. BJP retaining power in Arunachal Pradesh is a clear sign that Manipur had no impact whatsoever, at least in these two critical states of northeast. Down south, people said, could have some ramifications in Kerala, but that also is negligible. How do you see this whole
Well,
arithmetic
Manipur will have
of
impact on Manipur itself. The Manipur situation will have an impact on Manipur. I don't know about other places, but
okay,
certainly on Manipur.
okay, okay, fine, good enough, good enough. Coming back to the
But what
whole
is your question? Sorry,
my
go ahead.
question to this point, no problem. My question to this point was that the northeastern sentiments. We talk about Seven Sisters. We talk about Look East policy. We talk about improving the connectivity with northeast, giving the northeast the due. In this particular scenario, if Manipur at all had to be taken as an example of whether the government failure, whether the security agencies failure, whether it was a law and order situation, how does Northeast normally look at it when something happens in one particular state of this scale?
I think you'll find that, like in many other parts of the country, you will find that you know an event in one state, whether it's if it's a natural catastrophe like the cyclone which hit all the states of the Northeast, there's a natural concern. Everybody is worried. But as far as a situation like Mizoram, it remained, fortunately or otherwise, it remained within a situation like Manipur. It remained within Manipur. The impacts were felt in Mizoram because people who were displaced from Manipur came there.
Yes,
It
yes.
was felt to a degree in a place like Meghalaya because quite a large number of Mizos came and settled there, going to studies there as a result of the displacement.
Mizoram
But
Thanga was
beyond that,
also
in
very
political
critical
terms,
of.
it hasn't had the kind of impact that one would have expected. But there is a lot of unhappiness, obviously, within Manipur itself about what has happened and the fact there is a loss in livelihoods, incomes, and all that. But that doesn't impact too much of the other states. It is an issue in
Right.
Mizoram, but not in the other states.
Not in the other states.
There's a direct impact. Like something in SM happens, it may impact the other states because suppose the roads get cut and all that for some reason, or a natural disaster, floods or whatever, then
That
the
is
impact is felt in all the states. Yeah.
right, sir. Okay, one final question before I come to the national picture that became clearer through exit polls yesterday, clearer or just a hint to it. If we talk about, sir, Northeast on the whole, what are the aspirations? What are the demands? What are, because many a times you would see the mainstream media also, be it the geographical aspect of it, that, or be it the, I would stick my neck out saying business aspect of it. Many a times Northeast remains out of the national media flavor, national media coverage. What is it that the Northeast on the whole as of now, in your opinion, needs? Is it better planning? Is it better educational institutions so that the people and the students don't have to come all the way to Pune, Bangalore, Kolkata or Delhi? And how important the role of the BJP government do you think a double engine government could be in states like Arunachal to make these things possible for the state?
See, I was able to understand only a little bit of what you said because the line is really bad.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'll try and answer what I
May I
understood.
rephrase? Okay.
See, many parts of the region, whether it's Arunachal, whether it's Sikkim, whether it's Assam or anywhere else, are aspirational. There's an aspiration to do better than in the past. There's an aspiration to go out and achieve something. And you're seeing this happening across the region for the last 20 years. It's not a new phenomenon. Especially in the last 20, 25 years, you have thousands of people from the region who are going to the region, settling, working, finding life partners, teaching, studying, etc. So, once that happens, people's minds open up about the size of this country and the issues before it, and they understand. So that's one thing, aspirational, especially among youth,
Right. Okay.
The second thing I think we to recognize is that some issues within the region have remained unchanged. Okay, so there is this concern about the outsiders. There is this concern about demographic imbalance. There is also an issue of a major, this is throughout the Northeast, there is a major issue about climate change and impacts on the livelihoods and lives of people. So some of these things have remained almost unchanged, as you yourself would see. The language of discourse in some ways hasn't changed very much, and I wish it would, because we can't keep looking back over our shoulder all the time.
Right. Mr. Hazarika, I would request you to stay with us. Why so? Because first of all, apologies for the little delay that we had because of the numbers that we were expecting to come on the screen also. And secondly, Amit Kumar, he is an executive editor with East Mojo, sir. And East Mojo has, we must admit that, carved a name and niche for itself when it comes to covering the Northeastern news. Gentlemen, welcome to One India once again, Amitji. Thank you so much for taking time out on a busy Sunday. I
hope you can hear me. I hope you can hear
loud
me.
and clear. Loud and clear.
Thank you so much.
Very quickly, we'll play a few sound bites that have come on from Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, and then we come and start the discussion. Sanjay Hazarika ji is there with us, Amit. He is a senior journalist and author and a Northeast expert also. So stay with us. Stay with us. We are coming back in just 2 minutes. Okay, fine. Let's continue. Let's continue with our discussion. Amit, we'll play the sound bites shortly. Amit, two very critical states. Okay, let me straightway jump into it. Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim. Okay, when we talk about Sikkim and we talk about security and national security, the chicken's neck comes into picture. Arunachal Pradesh, Chinese aggression comes into picture. These are the bigger picture scenarios. But for states of Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim, do you believe that the retaining of power by the BJP, the Krantikari party coming back in Sikkim, augurs well for the state, means a lot, and people have reposed their faith?
First and foremost, thank you for having me. The issues that you highlighted are also the issues that I believe are mostly looked at when mainland or mainstream, mainland media houses look at these two states. These are the issues that they look at. But for us, for our people who cover the state regularly, the election results were expected, but I was expecting the similar results, but in different context. In the sense that I expected BJP to have a bigger landslide in Arunachal and SDF to
Okay.
give and Chamling to give a little more fight to Goli. It didn't
Okay.
turn out like
Okay.
that. We went live at 7 in the morning and we saw that SKM was leading on 4 seats. Then it went to 7, then it went to 10, 13. And by the time it
Straight
went to
away.
13 seats and SDF, yeah. So that's when it became, it's interesting because 20 years ago, this was exactly the same score in Sikkim, except that SDF was the one which won 31 seats at that time. So
Okay.
so that way the results are reversed in some way. See, Sikkim, I see that Sikkim is slightly different to the rest of the. I mean, we clubbed Sikkim in the northeast, but one thing that you have to say that the quality of living or the like something as simple as a per capita income, for example, Sikkim
Uh-huh.
performs much better than the rest of northeast. In fact, Sikkim is third only to Delhi and Goa, which tells you a lot. And
Oh, okay. I did not know
the
that.
reason
Yes. Yes.
see the thing is, and it's also, although most of the northeast states are relatively small in terms of mainland, Sikkim is even smaller because if you look at the electoral base, it's barely 5 lakh. So
Okay.
there
Okay.
are there are constituencies in Bihar or UP where that is almost the number of voters in a couple of constituencies, for example. So
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
is
Yes.
so on a democratic front, I don't think it augurs well for democracy ever if there is no opposition. But in terms of, if you have to give a mandate, it cannot be more ambiguous than this. So that ways, I think
Right.
the fact that and I think for SDF losing all the seats is one thing, but the fact that Chamling, I'm sorry, I think Dr. Hazarika is saying something. Apologies, sir.
No, no. I think he is listening to
No,
you.
no, you
We'll
finish,
come to
please.
him.
Oh,
Just go
Yes.
ahead.
Yeah.
I'll
sure.
come in after you finish. I didn't want to
No,
interrupt.
no. So I'm just saying that it was also disappointing for SDF because Chamling lost both his seats. I mean, he's almost lost both his seats. It has to be made official at this time. And Baichung Bhutia also is, in fact, Baichung Bhutia is pretty much lost. He's trailing by 4,000 votes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
when
Yes.
a
Yes.
lot of people thought that, Chamling and Bhutia coming together would help them pose some kind of a challenge to Gole. But it seems both of them have faltered. And for now, Sikkim has made it very clear that, they stand with SKM. And
Right.
and in Arunachal, I don't think anybody. We spoke to a lot of people, and Arunachal election results were a foregone conclusion. It became even clearer when BJP won 10 seats uncontested. So when you go into these are not, as I said, these are not big states. There are only 60 seats in Arunachal. So in 60, if you win 10 already uncontested, you only need 21 to stake a majority, right?
Right.
So
Absolutely.
automatically people also tend to vote for you because they see you winning. And let's be honest, there is no competition to Pema Khandu right now. The biggest competition for Pema Khandu, incidentally, is Chawna Main from his own party. But they are
Okay.
together. So
Okay.
and with those two,
Not from
so
opposition.
there is some talk about who might become the CM. There is some talk, but I'm pretty sure it is going to be Pema Khandu. And
Prema Khandu.
Pema Khandu, with his political legacy, and he's also one of the most. I call him one of the most visible CMs. So he's when we do stories, I don't think in the 4 years that I've been with East Mojo, there is one constituency that he's not gone multiple times. So he roams around a lot in his state. You see him in different constituencies. So he's a very visible CM, and that appeal has
Right.
helped him a lot. See, both the results are on expected lines, but I expected BJP to. I don't know. Maybe BJP will still finish with 50-52 seats in Arunachal, which is on the expected lines. In Sikkim, I don't think anybody expected SKM to win 31 out of 30.
Right. Obviously, Mr. Hazarika, as Amit mentions, yes, Mr. Hazarika, please go ahead. And I was just picking up so many things that Amit has mentioned. Please carry on, then we will continue this question. Mr. Hazarika.
Yeah, actually, Amit's made some very good points, and
Yes.
I just like to add to them. As far as Sikkim is concerned, you see these. If you look at the history of Sikkim's elections, you see these massive landslide victories for
Exactly.
parties, one way or the other. and it's
Very clear
you know
picture, very
they win
clear.
25 out of 32, or today 31 out of 32, whatever it is. And in Arunachal also, the contest is not even-handed. It's largely a
Absolutely.
sweep. And what I think is significant in both cases is that despite the fact that the BJP and its ally has been in power in both states now for the last 5 years and more in Arunachal Pradesh, the important thing to me is that there seems to be no loss in terms of support. Usually there's some erosion, some seats are lost, but that doesn't seem to have happened. There have been a couple of close contests, but once you win 10 seats out of 60, all you have to do, as Ajit said, is win 21
Exactly.
more. And they've done that pretty handily.
Right.
I
Also,
think one
I'll
thing
just
that we
add
need
one
to look
thing.
at is how will Arunachal now become not just more developed, but how will it develop its infrastructure in consonance with its ecological surroundings? How will it
That's
become
the
more
biggest issue.
this infrastructure development? Like if you see in Itanagar, it's really it's a town, it's a concrete town, surrounded by beautiful hills. But that's the heart of Arunachal, and you need to get much more. All the cities of the region are becoming like that, concrete monstrosities. And you need to see a more sustainable way of life impacting policy and people on the ground, whether it's the
Right.
Trans Arunachal Highway or the other infrastructure projects, because the
And
dams
I just
are a matter of concern.
In fact, I'll just
Definitely. Please
add
go
to
ahead.
what Dr.
Yeah.
Hazarika. I'll just add to what Dr. Hazarika said. To put this in context, as of 2015, the total road network, and I'm happy to share. I have to find out this data because I was doing a story 2 years ago. But as of 2015, the road network in Arunachal was slightly less than the road network in Delhi NCR. Now, to
Okay.
put that in context, Delhi NCR is not more than 100 kilometers in radius. Definitely not. I lived there in Delhi long enough to know this. And I think of how big Arunachal is. Arunachal is bigger than Assam, which is quite big. People forget how big Northeast is, but within these two, Arunachal is bigger than Assam in terms of state size wise. So definitely there has been a huge push for infrastructure and roads. Let's not forget when Dorji Khandu was the CM. Pema Khandu started his career as a contractor in building roads. So roads is also something that is close to him. He's always been at the forefront. You type Vijayanagar in Arunachal, and if you go for images, you will see a lot of photos where Pema Khandu is, inspecting the road work that is being made in the Changlang district. Uh, so there is definitely that. There is another also one thing that we noticed last year. Last year there was a big scam in Arunachal. I don't know if you're aware of it. It's called the APPSC scam. So the question paper was leaked for the Public Service Commission exams and all. And unlike when the
Okay.
protest hit the street and there was police firing, there was tear gas shells and all that in parts of Itanagar and all. So unlike what most CMs would do is blame the opposition for this, or say that, oh, this is anti-national tactic or something like that. Pema Khandu came on camera and said, "Yes, we have made a mistake. It's our fault. We look into it and we will address this." So that's what I think with Pema Khandu also he's if you notice his Twitter, for example, he almost never makes statements like how like I am based in Guwahati, so how are the CM in Assam? He speaks on a lot of things for his good or for his bad. That is a separate matter. Pema Khandu, on the
Himanta
other hand,
Biswa
is
Sarma. Yeah.
not like so unlike Himanta Biswa Sarma, who likes to be in the thick of things.
Yes.
Pema Khandu
Yes.
sticks to what I'll call his work. You go through his Twitter and you will never see why him abusing other opposition leaders or saying this guy is bad, that guy is bad. Sure, there are political tussles, but he comes across as a person who knows what he wants, and he has a blueprint for what his state will look like. Like even in other state, right now they were talking about palm oil cultivation, for example, and there's been a lot of protest against palm oil cultivation. So, in Arunachal, when they
Yes.
talked
Yes.
about palm oil cultivation, So in palm oil cultivation, one of the biggest reasons for protest is that a lot of people start growing palm oil and they realize the plants have not been set up. And without plants being there, you can't do anything with plant oil. This has happened in parts of Tripura. So Pema Khandu did it the other way. He first signed an MOU with 3F palm, palm oil company, and he said, "See, we are bringing the plants. Once the plants will come in, then you decide." Now, I'm not saying that it's a right thing. It can be an ecological catastrophe also. That's not. But I'm saying he does things slightly differently to other CMs. And in the case of Gole also, he was very strategic in saying that, so Sikkim also has a problem that its population is not growing as fast as other states, such as one of the lowest growth rates of population. So Khandu Prem Singh Tamang, at the end of the last year, he announced incentives for families. Just 2 months before or 3 months before the election, he said we'll be hiring 30,000 people. He issued the memorandums. And in Sikkim, if you can guarantee, if you can say that we can help you get a government job, it really helps, because as I said, the standard of life, the quality of life is
Right.
slightly better. And one thing that did
Okay.
not help SDF at all was I don't know if you remember the glacier lake induced flood last year in October. So that Sikkim flood, where the entire dam was wiped away in Chungthang,
Right, right,
all
right,
that
right.
dam work all that dam work had happened during the time of Chamling.
Okay,
And
okay.
that did not help him, because that essentially gave SKM a very useful tool, saying that see the kind of quality of work that these people did, that the fact that the dam does not exist anymore. So that also did not help them. And I
Okay.
think somewhere there
Just
was
a minute.
also the fact that
There wasn't a dam. That was a lake which burst. What are you talking about?
no, sir,
There was
no,
a
so,
glacial
sir,
lake that
no,
burst, and then
sir,
there was damage to the bridges
no,
and to
sir.
dams downstream.
So I'm
So
saying the
it was
lake, the
there was
glacial,
the lake burst and then
there was a
caused
glacial lake.
damage downstream. Okay,
So
yeah.
I'm saying the glacial lake outburst flood, the glove wiped out the dam. The dam did not cause the flood. The water that leaked from the glacial lake
Yeah, but
wiped out the dam.
you know the scale of violence in the Himalaya, the scale of violence of
Yeah,
a
I
natural
know.
disaster at
Yes, sir.
20,000
I know,
feet.
sir.
I don't think there are many dams that can withstand that kind of thing anywhere in the world. So, whatever it is, people can say these things, but that's okay.
So that
No,
also
of
is
course, I'm saying all
Yes,
quite
this
an
is
I
interesting
mean,
retrospective.
aspect.
in Uttarakhand, you have the same thing 4 years ago. Two
No,
dams
sir,
got
until very
wiped out. Did
recently,
anybody
until
say anything about that?
2023, until 2023, we
Just
have seen,
2, 3 years ago, yeah. Uttarakhand, two dams in one go. Nothing was left.
yes, 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 and
Nothing.
all the cracks that were appearing also, Joshimath, we remember how. So that basically the aspect here is that,
That's why I'm saying that climate. Yeah, these chief ministers and their leaders must be uh, looked at also in the way they deal with the issues of climate change, because that's live, that's happening, and apart from
absolutely,
employment, ecological changes, and all this sort of thing, infrastructure changes, this is going to be a very major factor, because if people don't know when to plant their crops, and the
yes, yes.
governments are not, whether it's in Assam or anywhere else, and the governments are not able to convey that, it becomes a huge challenge for communities in terms of survival.
Right,
In fact,
absolutely.
I'll
It's
just
a
add
it's
to
a
that.
tightrope
I'll
walk
just add
also.
to that point. Sikkim had actually recognized the scale of climate change in the sense that they had asked in 2021, in July 21, they had asked for EWS, which is early warning systems. They had 13 glacial lakes, so they had asked for early warning systems from the government, and there was talks with a Switzerland-based company to provide those EWS, but that never materialized. So
I
this
mean,
is
we will
something
come
that
to
was
that because, yes, what is happening right now, thank you, thank you, thank you, stay with us. What is happening right now, we are, all of us are experiencing a totally different kind of weather setup. It might appear to be very banal as of now, saying कि सब लोग गर्मी की बात कर रहे हैं, सब लोग बारिश की बात कर रहे हैं, but trust me, yesterday in our newsroom there was a conversation and someone said कि कब जाकर हम लोग climate change पर वोट देंगे. I would come back and
नहीं देंगे.
understand from you. when
नहीं
will
देंगे
India
कोई
finally
चीज.
put its foot down that yes, the
But I'm
country
saying
which the
it will not
government, I
happen.
mean,
I'm
should
sorry.
take care of it. It will not happen. We'll have to wait and see. It will happen. Delhi touching 52.3 degrees, something that rattled the PMO office, in which Prime Minister Modi asked the Earth Sciences Minister Kiren Rijiju that go and check the data of that particular center where this was recorded, whether it is genuine or not.
So
And
I'm sorry, but that happened in Nagpur. And 2 days later, IMD said that there was a glitch in the data. It was not 52 and 56 degrees. It
it
was
was not.
44 and 45
Yes,
degrees. So
fine enough, fine enough.
so
44, 45, 49 also in some parts of Delhi is not bearable, and let alone the parts of Churu and in Rajasthan.
But Pankaj, are you
So,
telling me that things were better 10 years ago? I lived in Delhi, yaar. I lived in a Barsati. It used to be 43 degrees 10 years ago. When? That's what I'm saying.
no,
When has?
huh,
But I am
no, but
saying
situation is
climate. People are
deteriorating,
talking about.
brother.
It has deteriorated. I'm saying.
The
It is. We
question
are
It
not
has
at a point of
the
these
recovery.
issues right now they don't. What they do,
the question.
like you see that there's 60% vote instead of 70% because people stay away because they can't come out to vote. So in a way,
Exactly.
people are voting or not voting also on issues of climate change and heat by just
Climate.
not going.
No, it's not there, sir.
But
Trust me.
when
Let
they
me tell you. Let me very honestly tell you. There have been instances in our newsroom in my 20-year career that I have spent in Delhi. Okay, right after my college, I started here. There have been newsrooms. I have been in newsrooms where we have been told, ये climate की story नहीं चलती है, रहने दो. If it's not Davos, if it's not Paris Climate Summit, there is nothing to worry about. If the media itself doesn't raise these questions, how will it become an issue in the public conscience that yes, I have to vote in terms of Supreme. Arvind Kejriwal went to Supreme Court on this heat wave death issues. People are dying in Bihar. Situation is deteriorating, and especially for the states like that in Northeast, I think the ecological balance, where it is more fragile as compared to a Delhi, as compared to a Madhya Pradesh, which are definitely equally hotter, but the immediate impact does not emanate from here. Immediate impact starts from the dredging in the hills of Himalayas, in upper reaches of Uttarakhand, Kashmir, then the northeastern part of the country. So that way, whether the states would want to stick their neck out and speak on that, I hope that the new dispensation in Arunachal and Sikkim does that, and hats off to Sikkim government for asking for early warning systems, which were planted when it came to the tsunami of 2004, I believe. So that is also the need of our gentlemen. Stay with us. There is a soundbite of Mr. Pinso Namgyal Lepcha, and he has just won Jongu Assembly constituency in Sikkim. Let's hear him what he has to say, and then we come back and discuss.
सर आपकी आज जो आप विन हुआ है इसके बारे में कुछ क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
सबसे पहले तो मैं जितना भी मेरा वोटर्स जिन्होंने इतना संघर्ष करके मतलब सहयोग दिया है, मुझे इतना हाईस्ट मार्जिन से मुझे विजयी करा दिया है, इसमें मैं आंतरिक हृदय से मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ। और मेरा पार्टी का प्रेसिडेंट वहाँ को भी मैं धन्यवाद दूँगा, जिसके वहाँ के कारण से मैं टिकट मिला इस बार, और जनता ने भी बहुत मतलब उचित लगा, इसलिए मेरा क्षेत्र सबसे ज़्यादा मतलब उम्मीद रख के इस बार मुझे सहयोग दिया है, तो मेरे लिए ये सबसे बड़ी बात है।
थैंक यू सर।
Okay, so Mr. Hazarika, now that the die has been cast, the results are out, and there we see Arunachal Pradesh BJP 46 with a gain of 7, leading on 7 seats, INC 0 and others 12. Clearly, clean sweep for the BJP there, and Sikkim also has a clearer picture now. In terms of the national picture, sir, the national figure, how important are the seats, the constituencies of Northeast? They are very, I know, for political parties like the Congress and the BJP, who at times, Congress, there was a time when had ruled the Northeast. Now BJP has started making inroads, 3 to 4 states they are there. How important these states become to paint a national picture, which was reflective of in the exit polls yesterday of BJP crossing the 350 mark?
See, all of us know that democracy is about numbers.
Yes.
You get the numbers, you get your government.
You form the government, yes.
The Northeast has, the region we call the Northeast has 25 seats. Not a great number, And if it is a close election, these numbers would count more than they would in a election where the one party is extremely dominant or one alliance coalition is extremely dominant. But I think it is not just the importance of those numbers for the country. It is the importance of those numbers within the region, because I think it's going to play out in different ways. I think in Mizoram you'll have non-Congress, non-BJP party. The party which is in power now could probably win that seat.
MNF, I believe.
But the BJP, I would say, has replaced the Congress as the party of choice as the Congress was 10, 15 years ago, for so long. So it has become like that. That comes with its own challenges and problems, especially with local alliances. Because I think the local alliances, certainly in Meghalaya and so on, may not be working very well. It's been a very tough election. I've been traveling in the region, and it's been a tough election. Even one of the chief ministers told me that. Very challenging.
Okay.
So it's not just a walkover.
Absolutely. Amit, taking a cue from what Mr. Hazarika says.
I have to go now, so if you
Hazarika ji, thank you so much. Sanjay Hazarika there, senior journalist and author and Northeast expert. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out from Oneindia. Amit, it's always a pleasure to speak to learned people like you and Mr. Hazarika. Now,
please don't put me in the same sentence as Dr. Hazarika, please. We are also
No. I mean, I had to profusely apologize also for. East Mojo. I mean, I would say in equal breath has carved a niche for itself, a name for itself, and your former colleagues and current colleagues also. We had the honor of working with them earlier in one common newsroom. When we talk about Northeast and when we talk about the overall Lok Sabha elections pictures, Northeast does play an important role. But do you believe that Northeast gets its share or say when it comes to these hotly contested North-centric constituencies or the focus of a particular party or the governments down South? Do you believe that somehow the Northeast gets the fair say, or does it get left out when it comes to priorities?
It's very, you worded the question like a true journalist. When you put it in these two categories, fair share or not, if I say it does not get a fair share, I would probably be lying. But let me explain. So I'll just explain what I have learned. I am also an outsider, right? So I've come to work here. See, within Northeast, I'd like to say that within the Northeast there is Assam and then there is the rest. Assam is not a small state by any stretch of imagination. It has over 3.2 crore people.
Right.
It's not a small. To put that in context, the Northeast population, as of 2011 census, because clearly we have not had a census since, we have about 4.5 crore people, out of which 3.4 crore people are in Assam. So other states combined is only one third of Assam in terms of population. Yeah, it's 1 crore. That's what I'm saying. Sikkim is 6 lakh.
Remarkable
population,
numbers.
little more than 6 lakh. Sikkim is little more than 6 lakh. Arunachal, I know these numbers by heart because this is what we do. Mizoram is 11 lakh. Tripura is 36 lakh. Meghalaya, Manipur, and Mizoram are around 30 lakh. Nagaland is slightly
Okay.
lesser. Sorry, Mizoram, Manipur, and Meghalaya are around 30 lakh. So when you look at it that sense, see the problem is
Awesome.
you give an entire state one MP. It's not the fact that you are giving the entire state one MP, but you are also telling the people that no matter what your differences are amongst each other, you will get one leader. Go figure it out.
Okay.
Now, Nagaland, I don't know how closely you've been following Nagaland, but there's been a huge movement for a separate frontier Nagaland territory, right? FNT. It's the eastern Nagaland. So six districts of Nagaland have been vying for a separate district, for a separate state, separate autonomous council, something more than what exists right now. The MP is most likely to be based either in Dimapur or Kohima. Kohima, to
Okay.
give you in context, Kohima district is, say, for example, if it's here, then Mon district would be somewhere 300 kilometers away. 300 kilometers
Okay.
of traveling through Nagaland territory, which in monsoons can be 3 days
Wow.
if there are landslides.
Absolutely.
Now, how is
absolutely.
that MP? How is that MP supposed to represent such further regions? In Mizoram,
Really a
now you were
disconnect
talking
is there.
about Mizoram, right? So in Mizoram, for example, ZPM came to power, right? And this is the first time a
Yes.
non-MNF, non-Congress government has come to power in
Absolutely.
Mizoram.
Absolutely.
But
Yes, absolutely. Very
but
recently.
Pankaj, despite that, Mizoram recorded the lowest turnout for amongst Northeast states in the member of parliament elections. Why? Because people don't
Okay.
connect to the candidates.
MPs there.
And
Oh.
again, people forget how huge Mizoram is. It's 90% hilly, 10% flats. But from Kolasib to the northernmost district to something like Saiha in the southernmost region, it's almost 600 kilometers or more. And it's only 11 lakh people. So Mizoram is not as populated as we think in terms of population numbers, right? Now, out of 11 lakh people, almost 35 to 40% is based in AMC, also known as Aizawl Municipal Corporation, which means for the rest
Okay.
of the state, it's only 6-7 lakh people. That's not a lot. So what happens is the area is huge. You have one
Right.
person who's supposed to represent you in 5 years. And when that is the case, what are they going to bring up anyways? Also, look at what happened to Manipur. Everybody who talks about double engine government, you had center BJP, you had state government BJP. Not only that, out of the 60 MLAs, 55 are
Yes,
with the
yes.
government. 55 of the 60 MLAs in Manipur are with BJP.
Ka-
You don't need more than that. And to
Exactly.
date,
And
Pankaj,
yet you have this
to
situation.
date, and to leave alone putting the state to peace, to date, BJP has not had managed to have one meeting where Meitei and Kuki MLAs have sat together. If you can't bring MLAs of your own party together in 1 year,
Not even not even in
then
Manipur, not even in Delhi.
that's what. Okay, fine, you can't do it in Manipur. I get it. Delhi,
Yeah.
if you
Never
can't
happened.
get all of them, at
Always.
least get somebody to talk about. See, this is what I'm saying. So when you talk about numbers, जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उतनी जिम्मेदारी
Hari,
उतनी हिस्सेदारी, we
Usman.
hear that, right? हाँ, तो जिम्मेदारी कोई लेता नहीं है और हिस्सेदारी कोई देता नहीं है.
Amit, who else better than Gautam Mukherjee, who is joining us here on One India? Gautam, thank you so much. Amit is a journalist from East Mojo, and his understanding, his interpretation of the ground facts are presenting a very stark scenario here. This was the same place, same studio, maybe the panel was also the same. Amit has today joined us for the first time. It's a pleasure. But we have often discussed, Gautam, the role of the center in Manipur, the role of the central government, the double engine government in Manipur, whether it had impact in Lok Sabha elections or not. But what Amit points out, the disconnect between the people of the Northeast and their member of the parliament. Maybe they are more connected towards more ready to vote for assembly elections, but not for Lok Sabha elections. This doesn't augur well for a government of BJP, which I remember the very first thing that Prime Minister Modi did in 2014 when he assumed power for the first time, he appointed one minister for the special focus on Northeast. I think it was Dr. Jitendra Singh or someone.
Donor. Donor.
Okay.
The Ministry of Donor.
The Ministry of Donor. Yes, that was the first thing I remember writing the headline about at that time. So, Gautam, how do we connect the dots here? You are getting possibly better numbers. When I say you, it means the current dispensation is getting the numbers as desired, as per the exit polls. But Northeast, how do we solve it?
Well, you need to back up a little and look at the history. For many years, under the UPA and the Congress, the Northeast was kept deliberately isolated. And it was
Okay.
funded by special grants, most of which was frittered away or, because the people handling it didn't do very much for it. When Modi came, then one of the first wins and victories, Congress always had Assam. It's almost a given that Assam would always be Congress. So much so that they got Manmohan Singh a dummy seat from Guwahati.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Made him a fake resident and got him a dummy seat from Guwahati. But Congress, in its folly, mistreated Sarma. Sarma came this week, and the rest is history. The biggest, most influential state in, I don't know if it's biggest geographically, but it's certainly biggest in terms of its political and cultural heft. That is Assam.
Right.
It's now firm in BJP hands. Then they started tackling things like infiltration from Bangladesh, and the last speaker was talking about Manipur. Now, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, all of these small but significant states have been subject to infiltration from Myanmar, instigated partially by the Rohingyas and such like, and partially by the Maoist-sponsored China. So, one move that has been made at long last, first of all, there was an open border with Myanmar, that was tried. There was talk of the road going from the northeast to Thailand via Myanmar and all that. It didn't sort of cut any ice, and eventually now we're fencing the whole border as we are on Bangladesh border. It's also heavily guarded BSF. And a tough line. That means the local problem remains local and is not international and interfered with by inimical forces.
Right.
With Arunachal now firmly in BJP hands once again, and Assam like Phuket, and in between you've got smaller states which are troubled, which have tribal issues, which have been exploited by different political forces to pit one against the other and between themselves. I think we stand a very good chance of ameliorating the real grievances of the people of Mizoram, of Manipur. This is not, one of those cancer diseases that can't be. This is one of them that has been checked because of stability and continuity at the center. There's every chance that this will be worked out. It's not just a matter of accords that, coming to terms.
Okay.
Big chieftain. Winning hearts and minds. Last but not least is the tremendous fillip given to infrastructure. It is never unprecedented. Train lines, tunnels, roads, connectivity. This is most convincing to local people that look, I am part of India. People are forgotten us, and they're not just bribing my leaders and leaving it at that. So I am
Okay.
very hopeful.
Okay, Gautam. You say that the BJP government obviously has not just given the infrastructure, the fillip, but also tried to connect with the people and assured them. Amit, you wanted to respond to what Gautam was saying, and also I will come back on two critical aspects. One is internal, and one is external. The CA NRC debate that happened, and secondly, the role of China in Sikkim. But before that, you wanted to respond.
No, I don't want to sound pedantic, but just want to clear there was no open border between India and Myanmar. It was FMR, it was free movement regime. It allowed people on both sides of the border to access the other side. I also traveled to Myanmar for 24 hours and I had to
Yes,
come back.
yes.
You can't
Come back,
just
yes. It is
so it's not a
through
it's not
Manipur
an
you can
open
do it,
border.
yeah.
It's not an open border. Yeah, it's not an open border. It allowed, instead of like when I went to More in 2016, it allowed me at 6 in the morning to submit my election ID at the border with the BSF. I
Okay.
went to Myanmar, had noodles, had beer, took a couple of pictures, came back.
Came back,
And
collected it.
opposite side, it
Yes.
was 72 hours. And as far as FMR is
Okay.
considered, I see, this is what I'm saying. This is where I not disagree, but I would like to offer a different point. FMR has continued for decades. In 2016, if you go to it, you will see that General VK Singh, then he was the Minister of State for External Affairs, he had said that this is an important tool for us. Okay. This is something that not only helped India. See, okay, now I'll come back, I'll address it one by one. Cross border smuggling existed before FMR was promulgated, it has existed since. People movement existed before also, it has continued. In areas like Nagaland, where the area that was talking about earlier, frontier Nagaland territories, in districts like Mon, for example, you have communities that have been divided across borders. So one tribe of Nagas among the 17 Naga tribes is the Khyamnyungan Nagas. They are a trans-border community. Trans-border communities are mandated by UN guidelines to allow for movement. There are UN guidelines that allow for trans-border communities to move. Khyamnyungan Nagas we did a story 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, about how there was a fire on the Naga side of on the Myanmar side of Nagaland. Okay, in the Naga territory of Myanmar, in the NSAZ, Naga self-administered zone, and the Red Cross from India side of the Nagaland went and doused the fire. And these communities have depended on each other for centuries to get by, because again we forget, when mainland talks about northeast, it's as if northeast utke ek sath northeast bolta hai. Nahin. In Nagaland itself, which is the same, I mean technically they are all Nagas, right? But even then the gap is so much that for a Mon Naga, for a Konyak Naga, for a Khyamnyungan Naga, they are far more likely to connect with their brethren on the Burma side than they are likely to connect with Angami Nagas, for example, in
on their own side.
Kohima. Just as like think of, you are like आप मान लीजिए आप यूपी से हैं. अब अगर आप, if you are from the eastern UP, are you not culturally and linguistically more similar to Bihar than you are to western
Bihar.
UP?
ठीक समझ गया that.
So like when you speak Bhojpuri, do you not in Allahabad also you speak Bhojpuri, in Ara Chapra also you speak Bhojpuri. Linguistically you are same, geographically you are in separate. Now that is the international border. Second thing about infrastructure, as important as the infrastructure issue has been, let's not act as if nothing was happening before 2014. If you look at the highway, the rate of building highways between 2004 and 14 and 2014 to 24, they are 2014 to 24 has been better, no doubt. But the rate is not exponentially different from what was happening from 2004 to 14. Or for that matter, see, that's the point of being modern. In 2024, this phone of mine has 5G. Now I can't blame कि कांग्रेस के टाइम पे तो 5G नहीं था. अरे भाई कांग्रेस के टाइम पे 3G चल रहा था.
ऑर्गेनिक है, वो चीजें ऑर्गेनिक है.
हाँ, but that's what I'm saying. वो तो 2G में ही लुट गए. वो तो 2G में ही लुट गए. 3G तक पहुंच पाए मुश्किल से. So this thing that prior to 2014 nothing was happening, and 2014 is, I will also say that Congress was also, the idea that this Congress government was in many ways, I'll give you an example, Assam border with Bangladesh. BJP came to power saying that we are going to put an end to the infiltration. They have said it time and again. In 2021, Amit Shah on record in a public rally said that we have stopped infiltration. These are beautiful speeches. Now you have the government in center, you have BJP, in state you have BJP. What is stopping you from stopping infiltration? On record, nothing is stopping you. But when you go to the court, in Supreme Court, as of this year, in January, we did a story on this. Bar and Bench did a story on this. On record, in Supreme Court, the government makes a submission that we don't have record of how many people have infiltrated. 15,000 people have been deported, 17,000 people have been given citizenship. On record, in Supreme Court, these are the data submitted. You have built 100 foreigner tribunals. Let's not forget, foreigner tribunals are not a BJP thing. It was built by Congress. The D-voter is from CAA, NRC. एक तो ये भी है ना कि मेनलैंड वाले सबको एक साथ बोल देते हैं CAA, NRC, D-voter. अलग अलग इश्यूज है भाई. NRC के नाम पे आज तक कोई जेल नहीं गया है.
अच्छा.
असम में फॉरेनर ट्रिब्यूनल्स में जिनका केस है, they are D-voters. That was an Election Commission of India thing. It's not NRC.
Okay.
It's not CAA. It's
Citizenship का लेकिन
नहीं. So भाई, हाँ, वो बात का बात है, वो अलग चीज है. D-voters were listed as D-voters by Election Commission of India. Their cases have been in foreigner tribunals. There are 100 foreigner tribunals. Out of all the cases of being declared foreigners, again, on the record, in Supreme Court, 85% of cases in foreigner tribunals have been turned by the High Court. So you have created a system, but it is not effective. It has not solved the infiltration problem. You have not dealt it in the manner you said you will do. What you have done is you have upped the ante on people who are here and saying they are encroachers. When you remove an encroachment, where do people go? I am asking you, you are sitting in Delhi, you know the corridors of power. In the last 10 years, under the BJP government, give me one document where Indian government has diplomatically raised the issue of taking people back with Bangladesh. At diplomatic level. पब्लिक रैली में नहीं कि वो आपको पाकिस्तान भेज देंगे, बांग्लादेश भेज देंगे, अफगानिस्तान भेज देंगे. भेजो सब जगह भेजो. भेजोगे कैसे? Deportation, see, in India, deportation everywhere is deportation in detention always means detention in lieu of deportation. You are detained so that you have to be deported. You have High Court giving order, Supreme Court giving order that you cannot be detaining people for 5-6 years. Before foreigners detention set. But how will you deport them? Is Bangladesh ready to take them?
तो फिर detain क्यों किया है?
This is the thing. See, I have no qualms in saying that BJP at a center level has addressed Northeast. I have no qualms in saying it. I am a journalist. I am not from any particular party. I go by numbers. Roads have improved. Telecommunications have improved. Today we can run a newsroom in Guwahati because there is electricity. Although there is no electricity right now, that's another matter. But things have improved. But that is how वो समय का जो काल चक्र होता है ना, वो 94 से in 2004 the electricity condition was better than 94, and in 2004 it was better than 2014 it was better than 2004. In 2024 it is better than 2014.
Gautam,
the problems that plague Northeast, अरुणाचल में आप देख लो, चकमा हाजोंग का इशू. एक तरफ रिजिजू बोलते हैं कि उनको हम आसाम भेज देंगे, आसाम बोलता है कि भैया हम क्यों लेंगे? Why will we take more people? Chakma Hajong issue has not been settled, and it cannot be settled within the gambit of CA because they were settled by the government in the 60s. These are not refugees who just landed. The Chakmas were, so exactly they were put there. That issue has not been solved. Manipur का जो problem है, मणिपुर में जो problem है, tell me, every state has that problem. Nagaland has the same issue. Meghalaya has the same issue. Meghalaya mein in this year alone, at least 5 laborers, non-tribal laborers have been shot dead. 2-3 weeks ago, we did a story about a 52-year-old Bihari who was born in Shillong. He was shot dead. Now his son and his family are going back to Bihar and they don't even know what to do in Bihar because they lived in Shillong all their lives. You are a coalition government over here. Health ka problem is at a catastrophic level over here. Climate change, people are talking about climate change. Look at what is happening in our region. We did an article, abhi 2 दिन पहले, our PM tweeted about landslides in Papua New Guinea, but he did not tweet about landslides in Mizoram. 30 people have, more than 30 people have died in Mizoram. 30 people have died on record and many are missing. 5 from one family died in Mizoram. 30 लोग मर जाते हैं, आपको कुछ नहीं होता है. You don't even, and then all of a sudden one tweet comes, okay, sorry for Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, सबको जो एक साथ डाल दो, खत्म, thank you.
Gautam, a lot to munch on. Amit, I know you can go on, and I promise that we will.
I'm sorry, I can go on because
But we will have a weekly show on Northeast, and let's have the new government, whichever it is, accountable for not just words but action and tangible actions. Yes, every government is trying to do the best what it could do, but this divide somehow, the mainland and the Northeast, should also go. Gautam, how do we start? Where do I start? Please feel free to pick up from anywhere what Amit has said, and how do we make things better from here?
Yeah. So again, if you see the flow of events, Tripura was also in the Northeast, was a communist bastion for what, 50, 60 years. It is now back miraculously in the BJP. Who would have thought? Meghalaya is all that system. It's also the norm. Talk of the 6 or 7 sisters are not your opinion. Contributing every single time or what was considered a shibboleth, that you see these people are tribal in many parts. They cannot get on saffron clad vegetarians from Gujarat. It is impossible. No, they are, and they are doing quite well in terms of keeping the culture. It was also thought of Goa. Now that is all, the Christians of Goa quite carry on in their traditions and ways of life, and the Hindus of Goa, who are in a majority and small minority of Muslims as well, all getting on quite well, and the BJP more or less winning time after time. So I agree that there are hundreds of problems, and they have not as yet been solved. I think, there's often a debate, it was often said about the Maoists, Central India, the forest, that, you can come down heavy with the CRPF and so on, but unless you win hearts and minds of the villagers, they are the ones who facilitate this set of Kashmir, unless you win hearts and minds with the people of Kashmir, terrorism. Now look at the changes. In Kashmir, BJP is starting to win on its own. I agree, Jammu and Kashmir, but it is starting to have some kind of...
in Kashmir, BJP never filed any candidate in this election also, sir. 3 seats, BJP did not put their candidates.
Yeah,
is it the fear of the backlash for the 370 which could come to the fore?
Now, backlash of 370 is now impossible. There is, it is something that people would like to keep alive, but it's like dogging a dead cat. There's not even a dead cat found. But fair enough, it is a political instrument, and it will not be given up until POK is given up. And POK would not be given up by India, but now coming back to the central provinces and the jungle where the Maoists, now you see the research concept, they are based on local support. They are informing on where these chaps are, and they're getting probed. And I think what we're going to do is slowly winnow out the wheat from the chaff, because all the while you're trying to do some good to whoever and whatever is amenable to that. There are some people who make a thing out of it. Let us not remember. Let us not forget. And they don't want anything to resolve, but they are not very many. They may be very vocal. And so you keep on winnowing down the wheat from the chaff. And I am naive enough, if you like, to expect that the Northeast will be created with voluntary happiness on the part of the public, in the same way as our other intractable problems have also been ameliorated. Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be complete. It is an ongoing story. But compared to, let's say, a year or two, as the last speaker was saying, things have gotten better. Things will get better in terms of heart and mind as well. And this is something that I'm pretty clear on. The other basic hard hat reason is the strategic importance of peace, with the dragon breathing down our throats. And we will have to strengthen our arm in the Northeast continuously. We are doing so. And one of the pillars of success in that is local support from ordinary people. And this is not something that is being done on any welfare or altruistic basis. It is being done for the survival of the Northeast. If you like, everything from the Sikkim neck next to Doklam first is at stake. And the government cannot allow any of this to weaken it. It has to strengthen it relentlessly. As long as there is China and as long as there is India, we have to do something about it. And we cannot let the big get the better.
Right. Gautam, stay with us. One final question I'll take you. I think it has become a rather long afternoon for Amit also with us, but we really appreciate that, Amit. One final question to you. When we talk about Northeast, often, the core issues are left unnoticed, as you highlighted. There are so many intricate internal issues that need a very finer look and not a distant look from New Delhi. My question to you simply would be, for our viewers, for the understanding, you have spent a lot of time there now in Northeast. What is it that primarily, if you can list in a 3 to 4 pointers thing, that is required on the whole for Northeast in order to bring them at parity and also have them in the mainstream, if at all? First thing would be connectivity, definitely I know. But other than that, what is it the government policies or the government intervention that is needed there?
Sorry, but this is a topic which requires research of its own, in the sense that I'll end up writing 10,000 words about it. But see, first and foremost, there is this again, and I don't want to sound like I'm bashing the BJP. I am telling what the center is not doing. The center is in their hands. Yes. And come 4th of June, the center will be in their hands. Anybody who thinks otherwise is living in a fool's land. So BJP is coming back to power. The fault lines in the Northeast are way too many, and they are not being addressed with the urgency that they desire, that they should be getting. And I'm not talking about, see, again, I don't want to offend anybody, but strategic location of Northeast is a very, very, and I apologize again, it's a very patronizing way of saying something from the mainland. The Northeast knows its position, but Northeast is not fighting China right now. Northeast is fighting amongst itself. There are not just what is happening in Manipur is one. You have seen what is happening in Manipur, but 3 years ago, on July 26, 2021, while we were in the middle of the pandemic, 6 Assam police cops were shot dead by forces from Mizoram. If it happened at a China level, we would have declared war or something like Doklam, and or made a movie about it or something. This happened. These are state borders. Assam Mizoram border, there are skirmishes that happen on a weekly basis. Assam Meghalaya border first level talks were so-called a success, but people are not happy. The second set of talks have not yet begun. There is a lot of anger simmering amongst people in these regions. Nagaland has pressing problems. The frontier Nagaland issue is not something that is a joke. The condition of people in eastern Nagaland. Now, when people think Northeast is backward, think of how backward a region has to be to consider Kohima as a developed city. You are talking. That's what I'm
Right,
saying. When you
absolutely.
can make all the, you can make thousands and thousands of infrastructure projects, but comes to zilch if landslides wipe them. Every year, over 100 kilometers of networks are lost to landslide. This year, look, that's what I'm saying. This year, look at the landslides that we have devastated Mizoram. 2 years ago, now that because of what has happened in Manipur, people have somehow forgotten everything that preceded that. In None, 51 paratroopers died when there was a landslide in the railway project in None district, July 2022, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 30th July or something like that. 51 people died in railway project. You were building a railway project and the entire land caved in. Climate change is
Oh.
an issue of, I can't even, I mean, it puts me on my nerves when I say that, it's such an, there is no future of Northeast if these issues are not settled. If you don't start addressing the issues, if you think Assam is the only state that complains about illegal immigration, no. Manipur is complaining, Nagaland is complaining, Meghalaya is complaining, Mizoram is complaining, Arunachal is complaining, Tripura is complaining. So all these states have the same problem. The idea that one NRC will somehow solve it, we cannot have an NRC at a national level. The only NRC that we've had successfully is in Assam. And if you talk to the BJP today, they are unhappy with the NRC in Assam. Because they are saying that Pratik Hajela, the director of NRC here in Assam, did widespread corruption. So in 2024, we are at a point where one state has had NRC and that is not accepted by the ruling dispensation. These issues have
Right.
to be addressed. Unemployment is, there is people, if you go by data, Meghalaya has unemployment rate of only 2.7%, which is fantastic. 2.7%, but you go and see the, it's not unemployment because everybody is working as a gig worker, so they are underemployed, but that does not register as unemployed. The condition of
Right.
like the farms, Nagaland, Manipur has had successive droughts in the past 10 years. It has had successive floods. Nagaland is reporting droughts in the winter season of epic proportions. Assam in 2022 went from some of the worst floods in Barak Valley to drought in central Assam in 1 year in 3 months. In April, it was
Right.
flooded. Barak Valley was flooded in 2022. In September, central Assam was declared drought hit. These are problems that are existing here on a day-to-day basis. Digital divide has become so bad. There are schools, at least 20 schools in Mizoram, which is, by the way, when people talk of Mizoram, oh, Mizoram highest literacy, 97% literacy. There are 18 or 19 schools where nobody passed class 10 exams. In Nagaland, the pass percentage last year was below 30%. You are talking about
Okay.
literacy in Mizoram, 90%. It has not managed to produce an IS officer in 10, 11 years. And the last IS officer from Mizoram, I'm not doubting her credentials. I'm just saying that she was in a position of power. She was the daughter of a UPSC officer. After that, Mizoram has not had a UPSC officer. Education is suffering in the Northeast. It's not in the position that it should be. We are very, very, I mean, not we, as in I can't claim to speak for Northeast. I work in the Northeast. So in this
Right,
region,
right,
there
right. I
are
understand.
various pressure points. You want to address the problems here. Please come down to the local level and see something as simple as Jal Jeevan Mission. I am going there next week. Jal Jeevan Mission is not working out, and our rural Northeast is drying. The water shortage is chronic in certain parts of Northeast. People are not realizing this. They think Northeast, oh, beautiful green trees, Shillong, beautiful done. It's not that. Guwahati, 60% of Guwahati is dependent on tanker water now. A city next to the
Okay.
Brahmaputra is dependent on tanker water because the city has developed in a manner that there's no control. There are
Okay.
the civic issues of the north. The Northeast has civic issues which are similar to the rest of the country. There is nothing uniquely about it. Parking problem is in Kohima also, in Guwahati also, in Delhi also. There are civic issues, there are administrative issues, there are territorial issues. Territorial issues is where you have to handle it at a very, very delicate manner because you don't want parties to be upset. And that for now, I hope the BJP government in the next 5 years pays a little more attention to these things. It's
Right.
roads are fine, telecommunications are fine. You've done well on those two things, no problem. But unless you start addressing these things, how are we planning to, setting up a long-term future of the Northeast without these things in mind? So there is that.
Right. Amit, I'm sure that, since you are there, you have seen things on the ground as a journalist, as a part of that society also, and you have seen the outside world also. So that's why this impression and interpretation means a lot, especially for people like us sitting thousands and thousands of kilometers away in the studios, and also for our viewers who are looking at this, taking a look at this broadcast and learning from your experiences. Amit, I would want and I would request, if you have time or if you have some pressing issues, then you can please attend to them. But Riyata Changte, advocate and social activist, also joins us, and we have had word before also. Mr. Changte, thank you so much for speaking to One India once again. I distinctly remember last time it was, I guess, Mizoram elections when we had spoken. Amit comes from East Mojo. You must have just heard him, and Gautam Mukherjee is there. He's a senior journalist. Before we, talk about the numbers that are flashing on the screen, that Sikkim SKM has got 31 seats, clear majority there, and one party seat going to other party. BJP again comfortably forming the government, coming back into the government. The issue on the whole about Northeast, and we are on the cusp of formation of a new government also here at the center, possibly the third term for the BJP, or possibly the sun rises for a new political party, at the center, or new political alliance at the center. Whatever it is, Northeast is a very critical and curious case. How best? Is there a lip service that is going on, that most of the majority of people who live in the other parts of the country, they are happy to know that, hey, look, there is a road connecting Kohima to Kolkata. But the issues that Amit has pointed out, I mean, they definitely need a very closer look to it, sir.
Pankaj?
Yes, Mr. Changte, please.
Your
thoughts, sir.
See, I'd like to take this opportunity to inform you the fact that last time we had a discussion, it was the assembly elections. To remind you the fact that this time in the general election, I have contested as an independent candidate.
I fondly definitely remember. Yes.
Yeah,
as
so today I'm one of the candidates, waiting for the results to come out day after tomorrow. So it's always nice to be, talking to you. And our friend that is Nujo has rightly pointed out the intricacies of development in Northeast. I think the only problem in Northeast which I find is that the people by and large were also as smart as the mainland Indians. The only thing is that our leaders have not political, political dedication to really bring us up in par with the India signing. I think we're coming to join the mainstream in a way that is quite smooth. Like he has just said that in Mizoram recently, you'll be surprised that the Mizo Student Union, the largest Mizo Student Union, MZP, has organized a talk in which whether the people should accept the extension of railways from Sairang towards Myanmar or not. It was a very Bairabi to Aizawl, Sairang, is already there. It is going to be opened up by next March. But people are talking about whether the Indian railways should penetrate so far into all the way to southern part of Mizoram. So it's very funny. There is a still sense of alienation from the mainland India, and I think this will go slowly away. And I'm looking forward that the new generation Mizos will feel very much Indian, and the political situation as far as Mizoram is concerned is very peaceful and very progressive. I'm happy to there with you as a Pakai Indian. Okay.
Sir, last time I remember you mentioned also about the youth of Mizoram and the opportunities that they have.
Pankaj, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Pankaj, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'll have to get back to editing stories now. We have to.
Sure, Amit. Thank you, brother. We really appreciate your time here. Thank you, Amit. And there is a promise that we will connect with you definitely for for a closer look and for a special dedicated show on Northeast. We will definitely have this conversation offline as well. Well, yes, Gautam Mukherjee is also there with us, and Mr. Changte, as I was just finishing, that the role and the employment opportunities for the youth of Mizoram, if we pitch them right next to other brothers and sisters of the northeastern states, do you believe that somewhere down the line, youth of an Assam has better opportunities, be it geographically or by dint of the role of the government, than a youth of, say, a Mizoram or a Nagaland? Is that so, where the state governments can come and pitch in? Mr. Changte.
Certainly. As I have explained to you many times before, I am a graduate from ISM
Indian School
Dhanbad.
of Mines. Yes, Indian School of
Indian
Mines.
School
I
of Mines,
remember,
Dhanbad.
sir.
So, in the process, I have proven myself that I'm not less than anybody else, given the infrastructure, the class of the society, class of the institution. So the only thing, the problem we have in Mizoram, or say in Northeast in general, is that our politicians are trying to, squeeze money, central government fund, by way of, telling ourselves and to the central government that we are not funded properly. But what I have found out is that the funding is so good, so huge. But the only thing is that our political leaders are not utilizing the fund in a proper way. So more than half of the fund is siphoned by the local politicians. So I think now the frustration of the young people have come, and we have pumped ourselves, realized, trying to convince ourselves that we are not less than anybody else. So I think with
Right.
this coming of time, I think, and then the main thing is that I feel there must be people coming from mainland to visit Northeast, and the Northeast youth should not only study outside Mizoram, should be able to work outside Mizoram also. So this scheduled
Right.
tribe, or what you call tribal concessions in the government and the PSU, will certainly help. And how I have become so liberated a Mizo Christian tribal, Indian tribal, is the fact that I've been exposed to almost 30 years in mainland India
In mainland.
in my long career. Okay, so I think
Yes,
basically
certainly.
we're not less than anybody.
So
Only thing is that
that
the attitude has to be fixed. Yeah,
the
the attitude
attitude
has
has to
to be
be, that
fixed.
connect has to be there, that will has to be there.
Yeah,
Gautam, I was listening to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's interview to one of the broadcast stations, and he said that normally they have a 100-day plan in advance after any elections that happens, be it state or central elections. This time around, Prime Minister Modi has added 24 more days to it. He said कि इस बार 125 दिन का 125 days of forward planning will be there. How important, in your opinion, is the inclusion of Northeast as a major chunk of redevelopment, of reconnecting, and of re-diversifying the approach towards the Northeast is required? And could this message be sent to the PMO, to the powers that be, that, hey, look, Northeast actually needs a closer look here?
I think the Modi government's approach towards revenue generation. You cannot do without earning. Now, strategically, the Northeast has been brought dramatically into the mainstream, I think, in comparison over the last 10 years. Said that, as far as I understand it, there are very few avenues, revenue generation have been discussed, even in the state, let alone in the other states. Now, if you do not have emphasis on economic activity, I don't necessarily mean manufacturing. I mean
Right, okay.
doing something enables the people of the area to earn money from things other than drugs and such. Because If you don't provide something, if you do not catalyze something, the vacuum is filled by a social element. The last speaker spoke earlier of the amount of corruption that takes place with the money that comes in. Because if you're talking of mere welfare as a one-way street or development in terms of only strategic requirements, then not enough uplift the condition of the people. Now, as part and parcel of 125 plan, certainly you can't have so far and then ignore the Northeast. It can be done illogical and it will be included, but I believe the emphasis will be on revenue generation. Today, yes, there's talk of Hindutva and improvement of temple towns and temple corridors and so on. But at the back of it, there is an enormous amount of economic potential. Look what Ayodhya is expected and is already contributing. To Jain.
I have been to that place, sir. I have been to Ayodhya, during the formative years also, and during the temple inauguration also after that. And yes, employment opportunities have definitely come up, but at what cost? The jury is still out on that, sir. The locals might not speak freely, as we discussed yesterday also, that this sense that if I say something will be taken, consider my business will get hit. So there are two aspects to it, sir. There have been houses that have been broken, there have been shops that have been broken, and the compensation part still remains open. Yes, but please finish your thought. I thought I will just put in my 2 cents here.
Is that for me?
Yes, yes, Gautam.
Yeah. There is, as the old saying goes, you cannot make an omelette without making eggs. It is a bit of a cliche. Always.
I understand, yes.
It's like saying, why are we going to space? We should build more, tube wells. It's always been this kind of argument from one side. But I believe what should be to listen to all sides, do as much as is possible to address some of these concerns, including climate change, including the destruction that takes place. But at the same time, not forget that you cannot an area in a vacuum. You've got to take the people with you, and that's prosperity. Could it be tourism? I certainly think the tourist potential of the Northeast is largely unexploited. Before you needed a pass to go to many areas. Many people found the system. You've got an excellent situation in Shillong. It is to some extent tapped into by some young people, but there is a lot of promotion that can be done. There is a lot of art. There's a lot of handicraft. There's a lot of design that could go into is dramatically different from I have exports from the Northeast which are beautiful ties. It is still a partition. Bigger and better. It's like what they did to the Khadi. Khadi was a dead debtor lying there talking of Khadi, and today it's become quite sophisticated and earns money. Same sort of thing is possible in multiple. The Northeastern people are very talented. Many of them very good looking. There should be a movie industry that exploits the Northeastern scenery as well as more than 1 or 2 actors nowadays. So it goes on and on. There's much to be done when you are talking of integration.
Right. Gautam, thank you so much for bringing us closer and the aspects that the government is up to for the betterment and for the connectivity of the Northeast with the rest of the part of the country. Thank you so much. Mr. Changte, as Gautam
Yes.
Mukherjee was mentioning, a lot, the potential is there, a lot needs to be done also. But many a times it happens that when we look at Northeast, when we look at Jammu and Kashmir, we think that it is all about snow, trees, mountains, beaches, and other things. But there are civic issues, as Amit was mentioning. There are internal issues, societal issues that need to be plagued. How relevant will it be for the center to get into the intricacies of a state which has its own dynamics, of a zone which has its own dynamics like Northeast, and then try and solve the issue? Is it important for the center to always have a double engine government in a particular state to solve the matters? The center has the power to do it otherwise also. But is this what is needed? Or are we trying with these pictures, कि भाई नॉर्थ ईस्ट में ट्रैवल कर सकते हैं, फिल्म शूटिंग कर सकते हैं, यू कैन गो देयर फॉर वेकेशन and then just forget about it? Are we trying to save a tree with an iron fence, but the tree is hollowed by termites?
See, Pankaj, very interesting proposition is the fact that many people from Delhi, from that mainland side, think that Northeast is one state, one region. But Northeast itself is a mini Asia, okay? Mini Asia.
Yes.
So in Manipur, people are fighting among themselves. Nagaland, people are fighting among themselves. So when you talk about Northeast, people tend to think that we all are the same. When I joined ONGC in '92 in Gujarat, people asked me, "Do you speak Bengali?" I said, "Bengali is in West Bengal. I'm from Northeast." Okay, so that is the understanding of mainland people about Northeast. And do you know
I will
that?
also share a story. I will also share a story, sir. Please carry on.
So we, the mainland Indians, so-called mainland Indians, have to have the concept that there could be Indians who doesn't speak Hindi. There could be Indians, Paka Indians, who are not Hindus. So even only if there is some understanding and acceptance from the mainland India that Mr. Changte, who hardly speaks Hindi, who cannot read Hindi, but okay, not a Hindu, Christian, but he's a Paka Indian. So that concept has to come first. And in the process of integration, that is the most important thing. Otherwise, our journalist has said that in Northeast people are very talented. What I used to tell among my young people in Mizoram is that we Northeast people, especially the Mizos, we look like Chinese. Okay, we look like Chinese, but the Indian, but the passport is Indian. But the passport is Indian. Here in India, there is a guy who looks like Chinese, but his passport is Indian. So for that gentleman, for that boy, for that girl, there is a very big scope of getting a job in a multinational company, right? So you people have to accept us Northeast people, who is not a Hindu, who doesn't speak Hindi, is also a Indian. I think our young generations are really geared up to call themselves Indian. At the same time, I think Northeast can contribute a lot, okay?
They can,
so
definitely.
What I personally feel is that people start talking about, development in Northeast, but what you have asked is that at what cost? We also want to maintain, everywhere I go, I call myself Shriyata Changte, Mizo Christian Indian tribal, okay? I'm a Mizo Christian first, and then Indian tribal, okay? So that combination has to flourish in India also. Even if, as soon as I am sidelined, I am pushed against the wall because I'm a Mizo Christian and Indian tribal, that will not help. Because as a community, Mizo also wants to flourish in India as a Mizo Christians tribals.
It's everyone's right, sir. It's everyone's right.
Yeah, that's everyone's right. Otherwise, as I've just mentioned, there was a very hot discussion in one gathering where I was invited as a special guest, that whether we should allow the Indian railways to go to the interior part of Mizoram. And I said, as per the constitution, Indian Railways is a union list. The Mizo
Yes, yes,
students or the
very similar.
Mizoram government has nothing to do with that. So the only thing is
Not a
that we have to see
state
how.
list, yeah.
Yeah, it's not in the state list, it's in the central list. So what is my idea is that our people, young generation, have to be gear up. It is very good to be Indian. It is much better to be Mizo Christian. Okay, so being a Mizo Christian and Indian, I think we can really achieve
Yes.
something, and you can expect miracles from this side of the country.
Absolutely.
I
On this
think,
note, Riyata Changti. Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes, sir.
yeah. No, that
Yes,
for that purpose, I used to call myself I must be one of the most Indianized Mizo. my
the
my children
ambassador,
were
the
born.
ambassador.
Yeah, my children were born, brought up in Gujarat or say that part of the country,
Right,
but still they are very
right,
much
right.
Indian, Mizo Christians. Okay, so India,
Yes,
us, you
right.
have to accept the unity in diversity. Okay,
Absolutely,
so let
sir.
us
It's
accept
easier said than
somebody,
done.
who looks like so black like an African, so white like like Jammu and Kashmir guys, and a Chinese looking Indian also, that we have to accept. The moment if you have accept that integrity in diversity, unity in diversity, I think the whole country, the whole India signing will be more, even in Northeast also. I think Northeast is really
Northeast also.
geared up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. It's very refreshing to talk to you. And you have been
Thank you.
very candid
Thank you.
about,
Thank you.
saying this. One of the former, I would say now, Congress leaders had made a comment that people of Northeast look like Chinese, people of South India look like Africans and all this. And he was shown the door also.
Yeah,
You know whom
yeah,
I'm talking about from Congress. He lives abroad though. But having said that, see, these things will only be used as a political tool so long as you and I don't tell our kids that, hey, look, this whole part is India. They are our brothers and sisters. And yes, there are geographical
yeah.
reasons for a particular appearance. The story that you mentioned about, people thinking that Northeast is a separate state altogether,
Yes,
forgetting about Mizoram,
altogether, yes.
Nagaland, Tripura. The same thing happened with me also, sir. I was traveling from Nairobi to Delhi, and we had a stopover in, I think, Abu Dhabi. I have worked for several years in South Africa, and because of work, I was there in Nairobi. So when I reached
Right.
Abu Dhabi, there was, I think, a person from UK, if I'm not wrong. He was also in transit, and he just casually asked me, "Where are you coming from?" So I said, "I'm coming from Kenya," and he said, "Oh, you're coming from Africa." So, even Kenya being considered, whether he knew about it or not, but yes, Africa is also considered same. If we talk about a
One.
social, one country itself,
Yeah,
be it
one country
Nigeria, be it
almost.
Chile, whatever you say.
Yeah.
Had I said South Africa, he would have still thought there was a name Africa. But this is how what I felt, that there are places in India also that we say that, hey, Northeast, straight away. But every state is very unique there. And what you told
Exactly.
about the Mizo Christians, Mizoram, and you graduated from Indian School of Mines. At that time, I was growing
Yeah.
up in Bokaro Steel City, not far away from there.
Okay. That's right.
So,
That's right.
yes, so it's always, you see, the boundaries and the distance become so close. I mean, we,
Exactly.
sharing the same geographical space, there should be no boundaries
That's
and
right.
no division around that. Thank you, Mr.
Exactly.
Riyata. Always, it's a heart-to-heart talk, as your name also suggests, I believe, Riyata Changte. You had
Yeah.
told the meaning of your name also last time.
That's right.
Thank you
That's
so
right.
much.
That's right.
Always good
That's
to
right.
speak
Thank
to
you.
you.
And
Thank
why don't you just talk about Mizoram, my prediction of Mizoram MP election?
Hey, yes, yes, yes. I mean, we are just a few hours away, but yes, please tell me, tell me.
Yeah, because what happened in Mizoram, there we have MNF. I mean the ruling party, Zoram People's Movement, MNF, Mizo
ZP.
National Front, and Congress. They are
Right.
three of them are equally on the same foot. So one of them might win. So the fourth one will come like BJP, which might get about 5 to 10% of votes. Then there is what you
Okay.
call Mizo People's Conference. Then I was the lone candidate from that area. Okay, so now I want to impress upon you the level of health of democracy in Mizoram. I met one girl to end my story. I met one girl. She asked me to take a selfie with her. Then I asked
Okay.
her, "Do you know me?" Yes. She said, "Yes, I know you. I have voted for you." Then I asked her, by the way, I will not be winning. I'm an independent candidate. So you're simply wasting your vote. Her reply has impressed me a lot. And I want to share
Oh.
through your channel that girl, she is a school teacher. That girl said, I don't mind whether you're winning or not, but I like you most among the six
Huh.
candidates. So I voted for you. Right. So that,
This
so
is
that
this is
kind
what
of
that what you have earned. Yes.
yes, that kind of healthy, progressive, democratic attitude has come up in Mizoram, which I'm so happy. That is why I wanted to share to the rest of India through your channel. Healthy
Right.
democracy is coming up in Mizoram. Okay.
Mr. Changte, see, election results, democracy is all about numbers, and contesting
Yeah,
elections is
yeah,
all
yeah,
about getting the support. Whatever the
yeah.
outcome be, let me also, be very candid with you that One India would always strive to have your voice, your views, and voices like Amit and Gautam on our station, so that at least we make an honest effort to stay in touch. And our best wishes are with you, that you get the opportunity to serve the people, serve the public, as you
Yeah.
have gained a lot of experience through public service in public institutions. So I would say definitely all the very best to you, your family, and your team, and to your state, people of the state,
Yeah.
for the upcoming counting day on June 4th, sir.
Pankaj, I'm so impressed with your channel name, One India. Let's have
One
One
India.
India. One feeling.
Sir, you
Okay.
have summed it up, sir. You have summed it up.
Ye-
This is
Yes.
what we discussed.
So One
Yes,
India, it
we
has
are
to be
One
One
India.
India, not so many India. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for
Lovely,
having
sir.
me.
Have a blessed
Thank you.
Sunday, sir. Have a blessed Sunday. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Priyata Changte, they are advocate and social activist, and also a very eminent personality contesting the Lok Sabha elections in Mizoram as an independent candidate, and he has served with several public sector units like ONGC and graduated from Indian School of Mines in Dhanbad. So here we are at the end of the election results for Sikkim and Arunachal Assembly poll results. Those who are joining the broadcast now, Sikkim has gone with its prediction, and the constituent parties, which were Chief Minister Prem Singh Tamang, he has managed to retain the seat, the leader of Sikkim Krantikari Morcha. Arunachal Pradesh, on the other hand, BJP has retained the power with with 46 seats. As of now, the trends are still in, and there you see the numbers of Arunachal Pradesh. Yes, there we are, 46 for the BJP. Congress failed to fire there, others managing 12, and BJP is still leading on 7 seats. So a clear, easy victory for the BJP. It was there in power as well. Prema Khandu was the chief minister. Whether he remains the chief minister or not remains to be seen. But one thing is clear, that the border state of Arunachal Pradesh has reposed its faith in the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, in the leadership of Prema Khandu, and despite having several internal challenges of being a border state, the leadership that has been chosen is that of the BJP in Arunachal Pradesh. In Sikkim, as mentioned earlier, Sikkim Krantikari Morcha, the SKM party, has emerged victorious in the constituencies with 31 seats, 3 on which they are leading on. SDF, the opposition party, managing to win only 1 as of now. So here we are. As the day progresses, we'll be bringing you all the details. June 4th is the day when, starting from 7:30 in the morning, One India would be bringing you minute by minute update of the election counting for the Lok Sabha elections 2024, and also we'll be bringing you all the reactions and opinions of the guests, experts that we will have on the panel, which you just saw a few of them, who would be decoding that what went right and what went wrong for the winning and the losing political parties respectively. And we can't wait to see you there. Please be there. We'll leave you with the soundbite of Rahul Gandhi, who spoke after the issuance of the exit poll results for the first time this morning. The results were out last evening, the exit poll results, as is the custom after the culmination of the final phase of the Lok Sabha elections. Exit poll results come out, which have predicted a victory, and if I may say, a landslide victory for the ruling NDA. Let's listen into what Rahul says and then we continue the debate further.
इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295। इसका नाम एग्जिट पोल नहीं है, इसका नाम मोदी मीडिया पोल है। ये मोदी जी का पोल है, फैंटेसी पोल है उनका। थैंक यू।
कितनी सीटें आ रही हैं आपके हिसाब से?
सिद्धू मूसेवाला का सॉन्ग सुना आपने? 295।